Welcome everybody. This is our first of the 2024 Raffle fundraiser season, our first live stream of the season. My name is Abby Austin. I'm the Executive Director of the Alaskan Airmen, and here with Junior Daniel of Dancini Aero. Oh, not Daniel Jr. Junior Daniel of Dancini Aero. Behind us is your 2024 Raffle plane, which of course we'll talk about. But first, I have to say my thank yous. You guys know how it is. First of all, this is the first time we've ever had a live studio audience. Can we get a round of applause? We've got a group here, yes, to kick this off. So thank you for being here. The Dancini team have hosted us in their hangar today, which they'll be seeing a lot of us this year to check in on our baby. I just want to take a moment to remind everybody why we do this. Of course, it's so thrilling to give away an incredible aircraft. But we do it to support our mission, to support GA and AK, right? So all these raffle ticket sales, they fund scholarships, which we gave out over $127,000 in scholarships this year, one of which is on Junior's team. Where's Judd? Judd's a scholarship winner. Way to go, Judd. All right. So your raffle ticket purchase helps support Judd in his training. Oh, and there's Anna. We got a lot of scholarship winners in the crowd. All right. Good job. So scholarships, next-gen events. For example, today, all weekend, really, Junior's team is hosting a fabric workshop for next-gen members that is heavily sponsored by Stewart Systems, also a big sponsor of our raffle plane this year. So all those ticket sales really go to support education, community, workforce development, so you can feel good when you're gambling on this beautiful airplane and participating in this raffle. So tickets did go on sale this morning. You can buy right now at alaskaairmen.org. You'll see right on the homepage. Click that button. You can buy 24 hours a day right from any device, or you can always call us. We're always thrilled to talk to you at the office, 8 to 5 Alaska time, Monday through Friday, 907-245-1251. Please call us, and we will promise each and every one of you the winning ticket. So do that. So, all right, Junior, are you ready to tell us about this incredible flying machine?
Sure.
Okay, well, tell us. Jump in. Introduce yourself for the group and a little bit about your history here in Alaska for me, would you?
All right. We moved up here in December of 2010. The Army brought me to Alaska. I worked in federal service when I left the Army, and I decided that I wanted to get into aviation. That brought me into working on planes. My first job was working with Mario Macaroni across the strip here, trying to figure out how I could do this on my own. And one thing led to another, and now we build Super Cubs here. I have a pretty phenomenal team. Folks that are here is Kristen, Kiva, Judd, Clay. There's a few that aren't here today, but
we'll get to know them all throughout this process.
Y'all would definitely get to know all of them.
Yeah.
I built my first Cub for myself. I finished my first Cub for myself about 3 years ago. That was a refinement of all the rest of the Cubs I had flown over the past 6 years. And anyways, it worked out pretty good. I use them for hunting. I use them for camping. I use them for pleasure. And the planes that we build nowadays is a refinement of all of that. You get a Cub that doesn't have a baggage door in it, and you try to haul a 90 to 110 pound meat bag out of the back of it. You end up damaging stuff, and it's kind of a pain to get it out of the back of the plane. The tail doesn't want to come up. So we made a refinement to that, make it easier to get the meat bag out of the back of the plane. The tail doesn't want to come up. How do we refine that? We put a bigger belly pod on it, move the weight forward. You gotta get your toilet paper out of the tail of the plane. You don't really want to go head first into the plane, so we put a baggage door on there so we can get access to everything in the plane. And it also comes in the maintenance side of the house. How do we make these things easier to maintain? If you can access every piece and part of the plane without cutting fabric off of it, you can maintain the entire plane and it'll make it last longer. You want to change your dash out? Well, we want to access that too, and I don't want to lay upside down in a Cub. It kind of gets in your kidneys a little bit, so we make the boot cowls removable. you can access all that stuff. You can maintain it.
And you're going to show us all that stuff here in a moment, right?
I will.
But first, will you tell me what made you want to build an airplane for the Alaska Airmen fundraiser and let us invade your life like this for a year? Besides that we go way back, right? You used to buy parts from me back when I was slinging parts, right?
Yeah, over at,
Yeah.
So, ultimately, I want to say the president approached us.
Oh, yeah.
Approached Joe and I
Yeah.
down in Seldovia.
Yeah.
I don't
He
know
saw
how
your
long
good-looking
ago that was.
airplane.
Yeah, we had 2 of them down
Yeah,
there.
a couple years back.
And he approached us and asked us if we were interested in
Yeah.
it and if we can do it in a very short period of time. And I don't think we could. But after that, I think you called me and asked me about it.
Yeah.
And asked to put a bid in. And I talked to my guys in here about it. And one of them was extremely excited about it. He really wanted to do it.
Which one was that?
Josh Seagrave.
Okay. Thanks, Josh. Josh isn't here today. Thanks, Josh. Do you want to say something about Josh?
Yeah, he was a great person.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah.
He's the kind of person you always want to be around. That kind of person.
Yeah.
He gives off like a really good feeling.
Yeah.
And anyways.
So we'll be thinking of Josh while we do
Yeah.
this project.
Yeah, his name's going to be on it somewhere.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But Josh really wanted to do it, and I didn't think we had necessarily time to do it with all the rest of the projects that we had going on. But
Yeah.
a month later, Josh passed away.
Yeah.
And that kind of changed the motivation. It wasn't necessarily just putting a plane together at that point. It's doing
Right.
something that my best friend wanted to do.
Josh was excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So that kind of changed all the elements of how we were going to accomplish it.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately how we ended up doing it.
We're going to make Josh proud.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Tell us a little bit about what we've got going on. This is our airplane. You guys, it's my airplane right now. For 6 months, it's mine, and I feel very good about that. But it's going to be your airplane soon. So tell us a little bit about it.
So ultimately, this starts as a Javeron kit. We ordered a kit from Javeron, and then it comes.
Javeron is an experimental parts manufacturer out of
Brainerd, Minnesota.
Brainerd, Minnesota.
Yep.
So you can order. I could call up and order a kit from Javeron and build this airplane in my garage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we start by ordering a kit from Javeron, and they build kind of a plane that it's ultimately a base model, and it doesn't meet a specific application. It meets a lot of different applications. They build a phenomenal frame. They do it fairly quickly, and they dimension everything to be that of a PA-18. All the pieces and parts that you would buy at, say, Airframes, or you would buy at Atlee Dodge or Univair, fit on it. That makes it really easy to maintain. If you damage your tail feathers and you can't get tail feathers from Javeron, you can go to these other places and get them, and they actually fit on the plane. Same thing with aileron, same thing with flaps. That's super important in regards to picking what experimental build you want to build off of. You want to build off of something that's dimensioned to parts that are available and not available from one source.
Sure.
That's how we chose Javeron. Once we get the fuselage from Javeron, then we put our own alterations on it to make it a tool for Alaskans. We're not building something to put in a quarter of a hangar and be a talking point.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, ticket buyers.
No,
If
no,
you
there's
want,
nothing wrong with that at all. If you want it, that's what you want to do. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty,
Yeah.
but it's more of the use of the tool. That's all right. Rocco, go wander over here.
You guys shout out any questions too. You're here to participate, and those viewers online too. If you have any questions for Junior about his plans, please type them in the comments.
But yeah, it's more the use of the tool. We refine the tool and we make it as perfect as we can and as useful for as many people as possible. But our tool is made not to land on an airport. Our tool is made to land on gravel bars. It's made to land in the tundra. It's made to run across tussocks. Maybe not that big of tussocks, but it's something that can be used to its fullest potential, damaged, fixed, and brought back out. Make it maintenance friendly.
Yeah.
So things that get damaged when you're using your tool can be replaced. I think what we're going to do is we'll start at the front of this, and I'll explain to you all where I brought it, how we've altered it, and the use of the alteration that we've done. And as the build goes forward, I'm sure we're going to do this quite a few more times.
Yep.
And I'll explain every piece and part of why we do it the way that we do it. So we received this fuselage from Jabron. I want to say about mid-August we received the fuselage from Jabron, and it came not powder coated. It was bare steel. And then I take it over to Paul Gray. His company is Skunk Works, and we have Paul Gray do all the sheet metal stuff and the things that everyone's going to see, the pretty stuff. He is a phenomenal sheet metal guy. He's a phenomenal welder.
He's sort of a local celebrity here for us Alaskans.
Yes, he is not a fabricator. He is an artist. Yeah. And that's the reason why we bring stuff to him. So what you can't see is on this back shelf is a bunch of sheet metal and a titanium firewall. But to give you an idea, and you'll see it later on in the build, the firewall is a titanium firewall from Atlee Dodge, and then Paul builds everything around it. So in this gingerbread here, there's nut plates in here. And you have a sheet that's going to go right here, and you have a sheet that comes up here, and then it splits right about here, so the top end of this comes completely off. You can access everything behind the dash. If you wanted to change the dash, very easy to change the dash. And if you have avionics issues, you don't have to dig through wires underneath the dash. You just pull the windshield off. You can access all that. As well as if you needed to do maintenance on your rudder pedals, you can just take your rudder pedals out. You can lubricate your rudder pedals. You can take the bottom out. And you can bring it all the way back to here. That gives you access to everything forward of the boot mount. Coming back from there, every single panel in this entire plane, minus this panel here, is removable. This panel, typically you're not going to remove it, but we set it up in such a way that you can clean all that out. So we'll have Paul put these tabs in here. We have him put tabs in up here. We have him boot cowl. We have them put tabs back here to attach the rear seat into it. We have them put nut plates and tabs into there for the cargo hooks, as well as the rear seat belt. And then we have him build the baggage doors for us, the baggage door frames and the baggage doors for us. Ultimately, this door will swing this way, this door will swing that way. All right, I'll do better. So we do a standoff here at 1/8 of an inch. That way the floorboard lines up with the baggage door. So when you drag a meat bag out of this thing, you don't have to lift the meat bag up to get it over a lift. It just slides right out of the door. We swing the door this way so that you're not dragging the meat bag across the door and damaging the door. And then you can also tie in cargo hooks to keep that meat bag down. In the event that you overrun the strip and say you go into the water and the tail comes up, whatever's behind you is going to hit you in the back of the head. And if you have 200 pounds of meat behind you, it's probably not going to work out too good for you. So the idea is to be able to strap all this stuff down for the worst case scenario. And then be able to get it out of the plane as well without damaging your plane in the process. Going back further, So the extended baggage will come all the way back to this section of gingerbread here. And then it'll come forward. We'll put an ELT back here. This is a really good spot to put your toilet paper. But, and then it drops down and then it moves forward on the floor. We won't have any paneling from here and above. From here and above, you're not putting a lot of weight back here because that's going to compromise your ability to get the tail up. The faster you get the tail up, the faster you reduce your drag, the faster you get off the ground. The idea is to break ground as fast as possible so you don't damage the plane. Longer planes on the ground, the more damage it can cause. What we're also doing is we're going to put a Furman pod on it, and that one's upstairs. It's a lightweight pod. It's called a jumbo pod, and Bob Pyatt builds that right here in Wasilla. That puts all the weight under the lifting surface. The closer you can get the weight to the gear legs, the faster you can get the tail up. It all keeps playing into the same thing. So we'll keep going back this way some more, and I'll show you other things that we have Paul do. I need to tension this a little bit more. No, we just won't turn it. There. So this is a clean out back here. And this is something that Paul came up with. And it works pretty good, and you can buy these clean out brackets from Airframes. But anyways, it makes it so you can access this whole panel back here. You can get into everything in this element or this area. Therefore, you don't have to put a bunch of inspection panels in the side to put your elevator on and to tie your cables in. In regards to the cables, we don't put our turn barrels in the tail of the aircraft. We put our turn barrels underneath the passenger seat.
Can you point out that clean out one more time?
So the clean out is right here, or the bracket for the clean out is right here. The fabric will come up and wrap around and go into this channel. This is a piece of sheet metal that goes underneath here, and it's held on the Salco fasteners. Let's see, what else we got here? We put the airframes float fittings on it because they fit better with the belly pod. The way that this part comes in to attach to the fly wires, the alternate version of that has that bracket coming out this way. That ends up getting into the belly pod, and then you end up having to cut completely into the belly pod to clearance that, and the door happens to be right there as well. So the Furman pods are built to receive that and a recession in the pod. So that's why we use the airframes ones. Let's see. I can't think of any other alterations, but to give an idea of what that clean-out panel looks like. The clean-out panel looks like so. And come on back here, I'll show you how it slides in. So if you can get a shot of that channel right there. So it kind of just slides right into that channel. Then it cam locks into that little guy. So when the fabric is on it, it'll wrap all the way around this tube, and then when you take this thing off, you have full access to it. Now, along with that, the former that goes down the belly of the aircraft, you see down here, this doesn't go all the way to the tube in any place. So you can take that clean out off of it, and you stick a hose up in here, and you can flow all the crap that gets under the floorboards out of the plane. And y'all with the Super Cub, let me pull this off before it falls. It's not going anywhere. Cool. So y'all that have experience with a Super Cub know that your floorboard is typically wood, and it comes back to to about right here. Well, the way that we change this is you can see these tabs are set up for nut plates here. We'll bring this floorboard back to the center of this tube. We'll cut the floorboard at the center of the tube, and we'll put this piece in here alone. So that piece will slide in around the torque tube. You take 2 screws out, that comes out, and all them shotgun shells and rifle bullets and batteries and all the dirt that ends up in the plane all ends up right here. So you can actually clean that out and you get all your shotgun shells back. Along with that, this is removable. This is removable. All these things are held in with nut plates. You can access all of your pulleys. You can access the entire length of your cables. You don't have to look at your cables with a mirror. You can actually see them with your eyes, and you can touch them. That's kind of the idea behind it. It has a built-in standoff with these tabs, and then at the top, so this will be 2-ply carbon, and we source that from Randy Appling at Carbon Concepts. The rear seat back, we get that from Carbon Concepts, and Sports Aircraft Seats makes our cushions to receive that seat back. Let's see, and then the toolbox that goes under the rear seat is also sourced from Carbon Concepts. We'll also put mouth pockets up here in the front that we get from Carbon Concepts, and then this will be fabriced on the inside from this tube forward. So the fabric will wrap around this tube, it'll wrap around that tube, and it'll actually lay into the mount pocket. So it's very aesthetically pleasing, and it's really light. But we've put a mount pocket on both sides because you got cell phones and wallets and flashlights and all kinds of other stuff that you'd like to put in there. It works out pretty good for us.
Are you ready for some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
We got some guys over here that have some questions for you.
I'm just curious, what are you going to do for the wings? Are you going to use the Avalon wings? And is it going to be the standard gross weight, or is it going to be the higher gross weight?
The gross weight on it's going to be 2,200 pounds. We're using Javelin square wings, and the control surfaces are extended 1 3/4 inch. It'll have 90-inch flaps. It'll have full-length ailerons. I think the ailerons are a little bit longer than standard ailerons. 24-gallon tanks. The weight of the wing, I don't remember off the top of my head what the weight of the wing is, but I want to say it's 117 pounds of wing. But I could be wrong about that. It's been like 6 months since we weighed some. I think it's the ones on the wall with the Raffle that we weighed, actually. So that would have been maybe 3 months ago. But yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head what the weight of the wing was.
I have a question. I heard you mention Carbon Concepts and carbon fiber parts. I know you're known for building a light hub. What are you anticipating with all of the mods and the customization that this is going to come in weight-wise at?
So what we're shooting for is 1,100. And it's going to be for our 35 the 3-inch reinforced, or the 3-inch heavy-duty gear. We're putting a 360 on it. We're also pulling more power out of the 360 than you typically would get. I'm kind of anticipating it's going to be somewhere around 200 horse. Aero Reset's providing the 360 for it, and they're also going to dyno it with the exhaust that we're putting on it. The exhaust is a Rupert exhaust. We're going to use their exhaust, their airbox, and their lower column. When you go with the higher horsepower 360, you need a counterweight crane. That's going to cause that 360 to be a little bit heavier than we initially anticipated. So I think a comfortable number, or more realistic number, is going to be 1,150, but we're going to try to shoot for 1,100 pounds.
I know somebody else has got some questions. What color is it going to be? Is it going to be pretty?
It will be pretty. It's kind of totally decided on color yet. The initial idea is to go charcoal gray and Tennessee red, because red is beautiful. Tennessee red is absolutely beautiful. We love Tennessee red. gray is a really nice contrasting color for that red. And we have 1, 2, 3 planes here that are tinted red. Two of them have charcoal gray, 2 of them have black on them. It's a really nice color, but we haven't decided the color yet.
Do you have a tail number picked out yet?
Tail number is 7, I believe it's 796 Alpha Kilo.
Okay, great. Sticking with the Alpha Kilo, I like it.
I believe it's 796 Alpha Kilo.
Great. Great. No other questions? Nothing. You guys know exactly what Junior's going to build for you. Okay. All right.
Gotta leave something to the imagination.
That's right. Well, we'll be back for sure. We'll do a deep dive throughout the whole process. See a lot of the stuff go in when he's finished driving. So I'm going to make the hard sell again. If you want a chance to win this airplane, you've got to buy a raffle ticket. The more you buy, the better the price. 1 for $75, 5 or more down to $70 each, 10 or more down to $65 each. Every ticket purchase goes to stuff like this. Scholarships, workforce development. Until then. Until then. We'll be here, hugging Junior, putting him on camera, making him suffer, talking about this whole process. So go to alaskaairmen.org to buy tickets or call us 907-245-1251. There's lots more prizes. There's 8 other incredible prizes that you can check out on our website and learn through these live streams. So make sure you're following our social and getting our newsletters. So I look forward to it. I'm excited. It's good to be back in Alaska with an Alaskan building. So thanks everybody.